Welcome back to Inglés 4.0, the radio show. Let's go! Intermediate. All right, welcome back. Welcome to Intermediate class number 69. Yes, here we are. And today I have a special guest in the studio with me, Esther. Esther, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Kyle. How are you?
Great, great. And I'm really glad to have you, Esther. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here.
Well, it's great. And at home, you may know Esther from the television. She's been a student of mine on the television. We've had class together.
Yes.
A few times. Twice? Well,
Twice.
Yeah, we've recorded together twice. We've appeared many times together. And you've been with, have you been with all the teachers?
Yes, with all the teachers except Hannah.
Except Hannah. So you have that pending.
Yes.
I'm sure eventually you'll have class with Hannah. Yeah. So today we're going to take a look at class 69. And as always, Esther, we're going to start with a little review.
Yeah.
So, two and enough. So can you pick up the table, please? Just pick up the table, please. Can you do it?
No, I can't.
Why not?
Because it's too heavy.
It's too heavy. Are you strong enough to lift it?
No, I'm afraid I'm not strong enough to lift it.
To lift it?
To lift it.
You're not strong enough to lift it?
No, I'm not strong enough to lift it.
You're not strong enough to lift it. Okay. Can you touch the ceiling without jumping?
Without jumping? No, I can't.
Why not?
Because it's too high.
It's too high. Is it too high to touch?
Yes, it's too high to touch it.
Yeah. Now, be careful. It's too high to touch.
It's too high to touch.
Yeah. Now, be careful with this because, and my students always say it's too high to touch it. But
yes.
No, it's too high to touch. Because the pronoun it is representing the subject here. So if you say it's too high to touch it, then essentially you're saying the ceiling is too high to touch the ceiling.
Yeah.
But no, it's too high to touch. Are you tall enough to touch it?
No, I'm not.
You're not tall enough to touch it?
I'm not tall enough to touch. To touch it.
Yeah, now here, you're because now it's different.
Yes.
The subject, I am not tall enough to touch it because in this case, it is the ceiling.
Yeah.
So it's the same as saying I'm not tall enough to touch the ceiling. I'm not tall enough to touch it. Yeah. Do you think can I touch it without getting out of the chair? Can I touch it?
No, you can't touch it.
Is my arm long enough to reach? Is my arm long enough to reach the ceiling?
No, your arm isn't long enough to reach it.
Is my arm too short to reach?
Yes, it's too short to reach it.
Yeah, it's too short to reach it. It's too short to reach the ceiling. Yeah. Okay. What about this? Now I have a paper. I have some notes. I have a translation list that we're going to do later. But first, can you read this list?
I'm afraid I can't.
She can't read it.
No.
Now at home you can't see what's happening here in the studio, but Esther can't read it, and I don't know why. Why can't you read it?
Because it's too far to read it.
Yes, it's too far. So because I'm holding the book on the other side of the room, and she can't read it. Esther can't read it because it's too far away, right?
Yes.
Is it close enough to read?
No, it isn't close enough to read.
Okay, good. It's not close enough to read. It's too far away to read. I can't read it because it's too far away, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, now what if we try a little bit of translation here with this, with to and, well, especially with enough. We're focusing on enough. No somos suficientes.
We are not enough?
Well, no, we can't say that. We can't say that because we say we are people. How many of us are in this room?
There are two of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are two of us in this room. There are two of us in this room. We are people. There are two of us. And so here, if we say no somos suficientes, we say there aren't enough of us.
Of us.
There
Okay.
aren't enough of us.
Mhm.
There aren't enough of us. So imagine we're going to play football and the other team has 12 people and we have 2. Well, what's the problem?
There aren't enough of us.
Yeah, there aren't enough of us. Yes. No tuviste suficiente cuidado.
You didn't have enough care.
Eh,
You didn't be. You didn't be enough care. No.
Well, okay, but if you use the verb to be, you don't need an auxiliary verb. So remember, we say be careful. Be careful. Yesterday I drove my car and I was very careful. I was careful. Now if I drive today, I will be careful. Remember, to be. In Spanish, you say tener cuidado, to have care, but in English, to be careful. So here, this one, no tuviste suficiente cuidado.
You weren't enough. You weren't careful enough.
You weren't careful enough. You weren't careful enough.
Okay.
Very good. You weren't careful enough. All right, let's try another one here. No hay suficiente información.
There aren't enough information. No.
But information, countable or non-countable?
Uncountable.
Or uncountable, yeah. Uncountable, right. So we say there isn't.
There isn't. There isn't enough information.
There isn't enough information.
Yes, it's true.
There isn't enough information. No eres lo bastante rápido.
You aren't enough. You aren't fast enough.
Yes, you aren't fast enough. So the adjective before enough, right?
Yes, it's true.
You aren't fast enough. He's not big enough. I'm not tall enough. My arm is long enough to reach the ceiling. The book isn't close enough to read. And that's very important, right? Close enough. So the adjective before the word enough. So remember that at home. Be careful with that, right? What if I say, no comes lo suficiente? My mother always tells me this. No comes lo suficiente.
You don't eat enough.
You don't eat enough. Una vez es suficiente.
Once is enough.
Nice. Yes, once is enough.
Is enough.
Once is enough. Is there anything you've done in your life that you're glad you did, but once is enough?
Yes, maybe. A parachute jump?
Oh yeah, did you do it?
Yes, but once is enough.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're glad you did it. You don't regret it, but you don't feel that you need to go do it again tomorrow.
No, I don't need it.
Yeah, I was thinking something like that. I've never done it. I've never gone I've never gone parachuting. I've never skydiving. That's the word I'm thinking. I've never gone skydiving, but I think I would like to try it. Would you recommend it?
Yes, to try it at least once.
Yeah. And did you do it in Madrid?
No, I did it, I think it was in Girona.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, maybe someday. I think it's something before you die, a person should try it, Why not?
Why not?
We only live once, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. Word of the day. All right, it is time for our word of the day. And yes, the word of the day today is, how do you say sudoroso? I took the metro here yesterday and I ran from the metro because I thought I was going to be late, and I got in and I was very...
Swear. The verb is to swear.
To sweat.
Sweat.
So if I have been sweating a lot, I am very sweaty.
Sweaty.
S-W-E-A-T-Y. And then we have the word sweater. But you say the same in Spanish, sudador, or like sweatpants, or like
sudado.
Sudado? Mm-hmm. So if you go to a gym and you wear a suit, like an exercising suit, do you say sudador or something like that?
Estoy sudado.
Sudado.
Sí.
Okay. So because we can say sweatpants.
Sweatpants,
or a sweatshirt, which is basically a shirt that you wear for these athletic, when you do athletics, and you often sweat when you're wearing them. But right now I'm not sweaty because it's too cold to be sweaty. But in the summer I'm often quite sweaty. In Madrid.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Now we can move on. Here we are in class 69. And we have the verb to cost. Cost. C-O-S-T. To cost. So how much does a loaf of bread cost? How much does a loaf of bread? Do you understand this word? A loaf. L-O-A-F. A loaf. Which is like un pan. Because it's also a cultural thing, the way bread comes, because in Spain you have the typical baguette.
Yes,
pan.
baguette.
But in North America, we often have like the bimbo.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, I know.
And the shape of that, we call that a loaf, L-O-A-F.
A loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Well, it can cost €1, for example.
Yeah. A loaf of bread maybe costs €1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends.
It depends.
It depends on a number of factors. Does bread cost more now than it did 3 years ago?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So what did it
It costs more than 3 years ago.
It costs more than 3 years ago, yes. Did coffee cost less 5 years ago than it does now?
No, it didn't cost as much as now.
So did it cost less 5 years ago than it does now?
Yes, it costs less than now.
It costs less than now. Yeah, it costs less than now. True. I'm sure. I've been here for 6 years, and I've noticed price increases. Sure. How much does a cup of coffee cost?
Now,
Yeah.
€1.20, €1.25.
Yeah, €1.20, it depends on the place.
Yes.
Right. Next door where I always go and where we had a coffee before class,
Yeah.
it's €1.20.
Yeah.
But I think the days of €1 or 80-cent coffees, those days are gone, aren't they?
Yes, those days are gone.
Yeah. It's kind of like the typical Zapatero
The question.
right? It's funny because I once worked in Moncloa. I went to Moncloa once to teach some people. Not I didn't teach Zapatero.
Yeah.
But some people there, and in their cafeteria. This was 3 years ago. In their cafeteria, a cup of coffee was 80 cents.
Yes, that's why he answered
and this
that.
was the time. In fact, this was after that had happened. So now I was like, oh, now I know why. Because maybe Zapatero goes in there and buys his coffee.
Yes.
Although I don't imagine Zapatero paid. Do you think I suppose he works in that office like everyone else.
Yes, it's
He
true.
would have to pay for his coffee, I guess. But it was 80, I think it was 80 cents. So maybe that's why.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's why. So how much did a Coca-Cola cost before the euro was introduced?
Before the euro was introduced, Coca-Cola cost about 150 pesetas.
150 pesetas, so that's about, €1 is 166 pesetas, right?
Yes.
So a euro 50 then is about 90 cents, more or less.
Yes, more or less.
So a Coca-Cola cost 90 cents, and now in a bar it costs €1.50 maybe.
50, yeah.
Yeah. So Coca-Cola, the price of a Coca-Cola has gone up a lot.
Yeah.
Right? It costs. So here, the pronunciation, it costs. And yesterday, it costed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it costs. So now, what does a Coca-Cola cost now?
Now, sorry, it costs €1.50.
Yeah, it costs €1.50. All right, very good. So it costs. We have this tricky sound, S-T-S. It costs.
Costs.
Yes. How long does this class last?
This class lasts, I think, 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. This intermediate class lasts 20 minutes. We have the same sound. It
Yes.
lasts. It costs. STS. So it's good to practice that sound at home. It lasts, it costs. Right, very good. Vocabulary of the day. All right, yes, it is time for the vocabulary of the day. Our 5 words. Esther, are you ready for 5 words of vocabulary?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, Esther is ready. And at home, are you ready? Good, good. I think that was a yes. Was that a yes?
Yes, it was a yes.
Okay, very good. Estar de buen humor.
To be in a good mood.
Good, yeah, to be in a good mood. Very interesting how we have good, double O, and then mood. Humor. Good
Mood.
mood. We have the double O sound is pronounced differently. It's O-O-O-O-D in both cases, but we say good, and then mood, good mood. Es así, right? How do you say, how could you say evidencia de sangre? Evidencia
Evidencia de sangre.
de sangre. We could say proof of blood, right?
Proof of blood.
Evidencia de sangre en la puerta del pobre cocinero. I love this one. How can you say that? Proof of blood on the
Kitchen's door.
del cocinero.
On the cook's doors.
Del pobre cocinero.
On the poor cook's door.
Correct. Proof of blood on the poor cook's door. This is a very strange sentence. Very strange.
Yes.
But if you write it down, you'll see we have proof, double O, of blood, double O, on the poor, double O, cook, double O, door. 5 words with double O.
With double O, yes.
And the pronunciation is different. Proof of blood on the poor cook's door.
Yes.
So it just goes to prove that the pronunciation is tricky. These are all sounds that you can make, but you just have to realize that there's not one way to pronounce a vowel like you have in Spanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hacer hincapié en.
Oof. No.
This one is to emphasize.
To emphasize.
To emphasize. Yes. Is it important for teachers to emphasize good pronunciation?
Yes, it is.
What can you say?
Yeah, it's important for teachers to emphasize.
Good.
Yes.
Good pronunciation.
Good pronunciation.
Right, yeah. Very good. Bajarse de.
To get out.
Okay, well, to get out is like salir, but then to get...
Is bajarse to get down?
To get, we say to get off.
Get off.
When we're talking, well, okay, bajarse de, yes, could be to get down. If you're on
it's true.
something high, you come down. But bajarse de, del metro.
Del metro.
To get off the metro.
Yes.
And then salir.
Get out.
Del coche, yes, to get out, or also to go out as well, right?
To go
out, or yes, to get out as well. But this is interesting. We get on the bus, and then we get off the bus.
Yes.
But we get into the car, and we get out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
We get on. So typically, we get on public or mass transportation, and then we get off. But we get into things that are smaller or enclosed, like a car. We get into a car. We get into a taxi, right? But we get on a boat. We get on an airplane. And it's one of these things that there's not a whole lot of logic, but it's a matter of just remembering certain cases. But even though it's not logical, it doesn't necessarily mean it's difficult, right? So it's something you get used to. And then prestar atención a.
To pay attention at.
To pay attention to.
To pay attention to.
Yes. And Esther, I have to pay attention to the time because we're out of time. We've run out of time, but thank you so much, Esther.
Thank you very much.
And will you be back tomorrow?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.